Hi again, everyone. I'm olliemathews. This is Societal Narcissism, and this video is sponsored by contribution from Tanya. Tanya sent in a general contribution I'm going to use for this video. What I have here is a speech from last week by Tucker. It's an excerpt. It's not the whole speech. It's about four minutes, but it really hammers home what the sociopath, what the society, what the narcissist, what the societal narcissist wants. And this applies, what he says here applies both to your personal life with your personal abusers and what's going on culturally worldwide. So let's just get into the video right now.
The people running the United States are no longer even pretending to offer a better life to the people who live there, which is a huge change. I mean, throughout the course of my life until fairly recently, we had people.
And when is a narcissist, when is a sociopath ever offered you a better path? Their goal is to break you down because that's all they know how to do. All they know how to do is make you feel like you're inadequate, you're an ingrate, and you should be grateful for whatever they give you.
People I voted for in office, people I would never vote for in office, but all of them made basically the same promise. Elect me, give me power, and I will make your life better. And here's how I'll do it.
And there's no such, and that's the Santa Claus thing that I talked about in one of my other videos. Most people aren't electing leaders. They're not electing representatives. What they're hoping for is fucking Santa Claus. Childlike expectations from people who have no intention of doing anything but taking from you.
I never hear anybody make that case in the United States. And what they're offering is a world in which human flourishing is, if not impossible, very difficult. The ruling party is the party of the childless, the unmarried, the people who are working for low wages for large corporations and living in tiny apartments in overcrowded cities that are rife with crime. That's not a cliche. That's true. It's not a talking point. It's true. Who votes for the people who run the United States right now?
Miserable people who want to spread their misery onto everyone else. They want you to be as miserable as they are. That's a huge motivation for them. They're miserable on the inside. They're miserable people. They can't stand happiness. They can't stand seeing people, happy families, people with children. They want it destroyed because they can't look in the mirror.
People who are, again, working for big nonprofits or big banks, living in crowded conditions, very often alone, in big soulless cities, having their food delivered by immigrants, and spending their time glued to a screen. What does that sound like to you? It sounds like prison, actually.
It does, which is, when I made the point of, for people, for my long-term followers, for people who been through narcissistic abuse, for the introverts, for the people who try to lock themselves away. I'm not talking about these miserable people. We're talking about people like us who have been abused and are just become completely antisocial around people. COVID wasn't that big of a deal. Being locked down for us wasn't a big deal because we've had ourselves locked down in our own prisons for years and sometimes decades. It's the normie who couldn't handle it.
It sounds like prison. When people violate our laws in the United States, how do we punish them? Well, we execute a few, not very many. But mostly, our harshest punishment is locking them in a small cell where they can't see the sky, where their food is delivered through the bars, often by immigrants, from the commissary, which is the Uber Eats of prison, where they
commissary is the Uber Eats of prison. It's right. And this is self-imposed on a lot of them. For us, it's self-imposed. But there's a reason why we do it. Because we've been so traumatized and we've been so abused. And it's just like, we don't want to deal. more comfortable by ourselves. They're not. We're not out to look, we're not out looking to make other people miserable. We're not out trying to make other people feel our misery and our pain. They are.
They have to sit cut off from nature and in solitude for years. Well, that's the life of your average Democratic voter.
Your average Democratic voter, your average communist, your average narcissistic sociopath. That's them. Miserable.
Solitude, isolation, cut off from nature. Who are the people who oppose this? And some of them are Republicans. You're not going to hear me say word one in support of the Republicans, by the way.
Exactly. Fuck them. Bunch of flying monkeys. Bunch of flying monkeys to the whole agenda, which is what I've been telling you. Republicans are losers. Republicans are losers. I am not a Republican. I am an anti-communist.
Who have collaborated in the most dishonorable possible way with the Biden administration. So instead of saying Republican, I will describe them as anyone who's not with the program, which is the majority of people in my country.
Exactly, because they're a uniparty anyway. They're all end up being on the same side, trying to suck off the same fucking teat. Okay, whoever the queen bee, top of the fucking narcissistic pyramid is, it's the same playbook in your personal life that is being run on society. It's the societal narcissism that led to your personal abuse.
Where do they live? And more important, how do they live? Well, they're poorer generally on paper, but are their lives worse? If you live in a place where you can see the sky, where you can make your own food and maybe even know where it comes from.
They don't want you making your own food. They don't want you being self-sufficient. They want you to be dependent on them for everything. That way, they can take it away from you when you step out of line. Sound familiar?
If you can go outside and say, identify 3 species of trees or hear birds or experience silence, the rarest commodity in the modern world, silence, where you can hear voices that aren't being broadcast from NBC News or Google, maybe higher voices. Those are the people who are not with the program.
The narcissist hates silence, by the way. If you notice, that's why they're always so histrionic. That's why they're always so in your face. Oh, because silence leaves them inside their own heads. Silence makes them look in the mirror. And they can't have silence. They need somebody. They need somebody to make miserable. They need somebody to impose their will on. They need somebody to be made to feel inferior to them. The same playbook that was run on you in your personal life with your abusers, which led you to my channel in the first place, is what has been being run on society since 1954. Before 1954, actually, but 1954 was the precipice of when they won it all.
People who have a daily experience of others and who have a daily experience of nature. And those people are much more likely to acknowledge a power beyond themselves and beyond their government. And there's a reason for that, because they can see it. When you're isolated in a cell, living, as the urban planners of the United States now refer to it as, in density, which is somehow supposed to be good for the climate or the world. No, it's death. It's enslavement is what it is. When you're living crowded as you would on an industrial farm as a cow or as a chicken in a pen, you are not liberated, you are enslaved, and you can't think clearly, and your reference points are gone, and you can't see the stars, and you can't see the trees. You cannot see God's creation.
What does that sound like? That sounds like when I say no contact brings clarity. You surround yourself and lock yourself down with miserable people. You're never going to see the truth. You're never going to see the world for actually how it is, which is by design.
All around you, you see what? Drywall and screens. made by other people, people who don't mean you well. And your ability to make clear judgments, to think clearly, to think rationally goes away. And the next thing you know, you're still wearing a COVID mask 3 years later. Because how would you know not to?
How would you know not to? Because it's all about getting you to do exactly what they want you to do. It's about destroying any sense of self, any sense of being able to stand up for yourself and defend your rights and defend your freedom and defend your self-esteem and to build something on your own so you're not dependent on these people. Nothing pissed our abusers off more than breaking the chains of their fucking dependence. Nothing. And nothing pisses them off more than the truth. Nobody gets in trouble for telling lies, okay? You were never abused because of lies you told or things you did. You were abused because you told the truth. That's the difference. That's the key to all this. They want you as miserable as they are, because with misery brings dependence to them, which is what they live for. And if not, they just wish death on your children, right? What a world. So thank you so much, Tanya, for the contribution. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to follow both my channels on Rumble. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.